Is it good?
No, shut up. Oh, is it already streaming? I just said shut up on stream, now I look like a jerk.
You always have to open things up in a nice way, you know? Or a bad way. Who cares?
Kirby.
You just want to go.
Let me add a picture to this.
So, Richard, do you, how do you feel about a soft body game? Like, I saw that stream of yours.
Oh, we are on stream. Hold on, my friend.
Do you want me to, like, lower my, my volume? Because it's kind of coming out pretty loud on your end in the stream.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on. There we go. Hold up a Kirby, because that's what I do. Cool. That's good enough for me. So it's loud on your end?
No, I mean, like, just like I'm watching the stream right now,
and you're too loud?
I feel it might be loud, I don't know.
I'm gonna turn you down like this. Try it again. Keep talking, and no one explodes.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, so now you're at a decent volume. You're half the volume.
Okay,
is it
should be
too
good.
loud when I press play on this video?
Hi everyone. The time has come for today's Nintendo Direct. I'm Yoshiaki Koizumi.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So
I'm gonna not watch the stream anymore, so like my brain doesn't audio stream.
That's a good idea.
Richard's not good for me.
I don't know why I can't see stream chat when I'm streaming recently, but whatever.
There's Yoshiaki Koizumi. I just messed up his name.
Oh, cool. I can see it all working. Let me keep the stream chat open. Let's see what happens. Okay, so yeah. I don't think we need to introduce ourselves because... Oh no, Local Tony's here, and he's causing a ruckus. Gotta ban that guy. You ready, Adrian? Can I hear you?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'll be your guide.
Should I skip to the first game?
I have lots of information to share about upcoming games for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo 3D.
Really?
Up first, some Nintendo 3DS headlines.
Alright, I'm at the headlines.
It's the biggest collection in this microgame series. The latest in the WarioWare series is coming to the Nintendo 3DS family of systems.
So I can just turn it down a little bit because I've already
Which means there's a new way to play Wario.
So I'm looking at the WarioWare.
Satisfying microgames.
You guys have anything to say about this?
With classics
this kind of reminds me of like the Mario Party collection they did a while back. But I feel like this is probably gonna be better because like the whole game was just like microgames, you know. Like that's kind of the meat of the game, unlike the Mario Party demo. I mean, not demo, like collection where it was just the mini games, no boards or anything. There was like one board, but you know what I mean.
I'm mostly just anticipating that it's gonna be like Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, which was basically every single rhythm game that they could possibly include in one title. This looks like it's gonna be 300 micro games, which is essentially 3 games: Twisted, Touched, and the original WarioWare. So it just looks like it's a really simple product, and they can just easily keep WarioWare alive for people who have no idea. I think I played every WarioWare game on the face of the planet, which is strange. Because there's a few series out there that I've actually played. Wait, which mic is this using? This one? There's a few series out there that I've actually played every game of on accident. And I think Mario vs. Donkey Kong is one of them. And WarioWare, I've played every single one, including DIY WarioWare. And WarioWare Snapped, which was like an experiment for the DSi. Touch, Twisted, Smooth Moves, all of them, Ink. Yeah.
Get ready for pulse pounding post.
So now moving on to Dylan.
Battles. Race down enemy Groks and rock them in battle to defend frontier villages.
So funny. So I played Dylan Rolling Western 1, couldn't really get past the first world because that game was boring. And actually, I can show you on the stream my list of doohickeys. Let's see if I can get it to work. Doohickeys. My list of gaming issues right here. And Dylan made it to one of them. Where are you, Dylan? Gameplay, high concept that is a composite of less engaging and poorly executed low concepts. Dylan Rolling Western, yay. Games that are missing a critical engaging element. Dylan Rolling Western, yay. So, among many things that I find issue with, Dylan Rolling Western is a perfect example of a game that was missing something. It was just really flat and boring and had a lot of pieces, but it seemed like it didn't really get much farther than that. Wouldn't it be cool if, you know, this meets this meets this, and then it wasn't cool. So one of the things that I said that they needed to do to make it interesting was make moving around the world more meaningful, challenging, and interesting, and therefore you have to introduce racing-like challenges to the game, because you're this little rolling dude, but it really didn't really matter where you rolled and how you rolled, and they put a couple of things to run into on the overworld, but that's just real. Like, trinkets and breadcrumbs don't really matter that much when we're talking about what makes this game interesting in its core. And the first thing they say in this video is, now he's racing. I'm like, okay, you got my attention.
Yes, sir.
Oh, what are all these screenshots? Oh, so like before, they would make it to where there's multiple lanes and there's multiple enemies coming down the lanes, and you don't know which enemies are where until you either scout them with your towers or you drive out close to them and you get a sense of like, oh, the threat's here. You can build turrets, and the turrets whittle down the enemies and potentially destroy them completely if you have strong enough turrets. Otherwise, your strongest counterforce is you, Dylan. You roll into the enemies and you enter like a RPG like cutaway battle system, and then you try to destroy the enemies, but all the while your time is ticking down and you have limited time because it's a tower defense game. So look, now in the screenshot, the entire tower defense structure is set up on a racetrack. Oh, whoa, racetracks. We know a lot about racetracks. It makes being efficient much more easy to understand. Instead of just racing to the next target, you are racing always against yourself. That's like the foundational element of what makes racing games interesting. Just making it a little faster, a little more efficient, you know, blah, blah, blah. Based on this map, it looks like there's a bunch of different targets. Goodness, what is happening on this map? So it looks like there's danger, but I don't see any on the map. There's range. These are buttons, so I don't know. Maybe you can flop the map between like allied elements, dangerous elements, and range. I guess the range of your turret, so you can kind of see at a glance you know what's happening, and maybe your turrets run out of batteries. That's why FGH is here. I don't know what else these symbols can mean, but
Action.
Something's at level 257, something's at 317. What does this mean? And this
I'm thinking like those
tower defense.
white circles might be turrets, or at least some unit you can put in.
In this screenshot, Dylan's running around. It looks like 27 out of 37 creatures are still alive. He's got a boost, which is the same boost he had when he was racing. He has hearts, which looks like a universal health for Dylan. I think he had hearts before, but I don't remember there being this many hearts. And then what else is going on here?
Dylan's dead heat breakers.
So now he has super moves.
This time,
With slowdown.
Flash himself, Dylan, will team up with your own animalized me character.
So this is interesting. So basically, like the original Dylan Rolling Western, based on the way they had it tuned and some other things, you were pretty much doing a lot of work by yourself. It's just like you going from place to place. And sure, some of your turrets do some work for you, but really they can only do so much. And if the level's too hard for your turrets, then it's still going to be you going each individual threat and taking them out. And every battle is pretty much the same. You doing a 3-hit combo and like chaining your combos as much as possible. So it was really flat on that end. I think the game had some extra attacks that you unlock later in the game, but that's much later apparently. So it was just pretty boring to start. But now we look like we have an animal friend and it's shooting stuff.
And use your whole team.
That's interesting.
What in tarnation? Your friend.
That's a really smooth looking integration of the Mii's, I must say.
Mii characters can join the team as gunners.
But these graphics are so dirty. Golly, sometimes I just don't want to play any more 3DS games because games don't need to look this dirty anymore.
You'll need their help to face each wave of transforming monsters. Who or what will you and Dylan get tangled up with?
And one thing I also didn't anticipate is Dylan 1 had RPG elements like talking to people in towns and taking side quests, but they were MMO-like side quests, so that really pissed me off. Just go back out into the wilderness that you were already in and collect things that now all of a sudden are important. Like, don't do that. That was so boring.
That. There's an enemy in...
Okay, cool. So
character models look alright.
What?
The character models look alright, but like everything else is kind of like, you're right, like really fucking dirty looking.
Yeah, it just looks like, I mean, apparently Dylan 1 came out early in the 3DS, so it looks like they're using the same engine, and you know how that goes. Sometimes you're like, it's going to look dirty forever, just like Pushmo looks the same for all 3 Pushmo games on the 3DS, and the third one had slowed down because they were working off the same engine, so, you know. At least in this screenshot we see laps, a timer, and boosts. Looks like a time attack right there. And then we have this grid-based... When you're controlling the animal character, your hearts are 8-bit and you have bombs, so this could be almost like a twin-stick shooter.
The demo version of the game will be available for download May 10th.
May 10th for a demo, that's cool.
The full game, Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, rolls into Nintendo eShop on Nintendo 3DS May 24th.
It's a pretty cool name.
Are the brothers in
Also, that part after the top-down shooting section, you see Dylan attacking while on the racetrack, which is pretty cool.
Get your IGPX fix. Did you guys ever watch? Okay, yes. That's all I need to know. I want a game to be like IGPX, and I look forward to playing that future game.
There actually is an IGPX game on the PlayStation 2. It looks bad though, but it exists.
Great.
It's IGPX.
Immortal Grand Prix. It's like
man.
Racing mechs. It's a sport / racing mech thing where you race around the track in teams of 3, and then you can also sort of transform your mech to do battle in order to get ahead in the race.
Oh, that sounds like cool.
So yeah, Bowser's Inside Story. Great. I'm surprised they're remaking it. Whatever. Give people stuff to do. Sell more games, I guess. It doesn't look like...
I wish they wouldn't like mess with the art style too much. But like, yeah, it's bringing the game to more people, so that's still cool, I guess.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say about that thing. I'm surprised they skipped over Partners in Time. Apparently nobody likes it. They remade 1 and they skipped to 3. Right? Why not remake 2 and then 3?
Partners in Time is the least popular. I know, because even when I was a kid and I played that, I'm like, you know, I think I like Superstar more than this one.
Like, what
the game just
main complaints about that game?
For me, story actually wasn't as engaging. It was not as funny, and the comedy was actually one of the major points that I loved Superstar Saga so much. Also, the game was just a whole lot more linear. So those neat little dungeon-esque areas you get in Superstar Saga, you don't get any of them in Partners in Time, except for maybe inside Boo. I think that's his name. The big giant Yoshi. Other than that, it's just super linear and boring.
It felt like just more of the same like Golden Sun 2, so I stopped after like 30 minutes of playing it.
That was like my first DS game. I have like really fond memories of that one.
Yeah. I still think, you know, all the little action-based minigames they have are still fun. I kind of wish they didn't replace the bro moves with the bro items, but the bro items are still cool.
So, next up, Detective Pikachu.
Scoop on Detective Pikachu, plus a new amiibo. Something about this Pikachu is
what type of game is it anyway?
He's gruff.
That's a good question.
Runs his mouth.
I have no idea.
Oh, this game's in...
pointing clip?
There's a little text at the bottom that said this game's in 2D, so this game's not going to use the 3D effect?
Welcome to Rhyme City, where humans and Pokemon usually live in harmony.
Let me see this.
So I guess that means the graphics are so tailored and intense that they can't even spare the processor to do the 3D effect.
Luckily,
like that's just rendered cutscene. That looks rendered too. No. Okay, yeah, that's in game.
How was that? Did I do it?
So what kind of game is this going to be? Layton? Is it going to be more like another Code Trace Memory? Is it going to be more like Ghost Trick? Is it going to be more like Hotel Dusk? Like I don't know.
They haven't actually shown any gameplay. They're just showing the cutscenes.
Yeah, all I see is Pikachu being adorable with his gruff detective voice.
So is it going to be more like I don't know, I haven't played them, but like Gone Home or The Walking Dead, where you're really not playing a lot, but you just kind of tap, 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 go through the story. Who knows? But it has nice production value, I'll give it that. Nice voice acting, nice animation, kind of unique.
Pikachu when the game launches March 23rd. Plus, keep your eyes peeled for this extra-large Detective Pikachu amiibo figure, which launches the same day.
Twist is just like Pikachu. It's just like a random Pikachu just possessed by it's like some old man. That'd be like a really good twist.
Look how dirty it looks.
Honestly, it's not even like the crunchy look of it that makes me a little disappointed. It's just that like I feel like a lot of the lighting in the GameCube is just kind of lost in this one.
Yeah, it looks like the lighting's a little less intense. But I think the only place the lighting was really intense was at the beginning and in the dark rooms when there's no light.
The original mansion where Mario went missing.
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion was a pretty big sort of technical showcase for Nintendo. Like, oh, look at all these lighting and shadow effects that we can do, especially when you see something like Bogmire.
The mansion's map will be displayed on the bottom screen.
The Game Boy horror.
If you work up the courage to fight the ghosts of your past battles in the new Boss Rush mode.
They got a Boss Rush mode. That's the easiest thing to add to your
Nintendo 3DS
port.
launches this year.
Yeah, that's a good feature.
Like we were saying before, I don't think the controls... Hey, it's What's Up, Nate? Yo. If you have any questions or comments, join in. Yeah, we were talking before how I don't think they're going to get a suitable substitute for the triple analog controls that the GameCube controller offers with those analog triggers. And that was one of the most engaging parts about Luigi's Mansion. Seeing the entire room in 3D, aiming in 3D, and then moving Luigi around, super fun. Oh well.
That's
it's super bad that they got sued for some patent bullshit, so now they can never do that again unless they're remanufacturing their own GameCube controllers.
I mean, you could, you'd have to invent a new way to do it, like motion controls or whatever. I always thought that you should use the Wiimote and Nunchuck. But
yeah, like sort of like twist it like you're like the nozzle of a hose or something like that.
Or just your pointer controls are already 2D in one. It's 2D with the Y-axis, and actually the pointer controls also have Z-axis depth. I really think the Wiimote is incredible, but you know, whatever. We'll see how a lot of these new motion control games do with the Joy-Cons, but I really do miss the Wiimote. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Joy-Cons can still act as... Wait. Never mind, the IR is on the wrong side.
You'd have to do a lot of work.
Or figure out how to make a control scheme that makes the thing work upside down.
So Kirby has more friends. I played the demo. The game is really pretty, but slow, like the classic Kirby's, and I don't know, it really feels like they don't have any inspiration to modify this series in any way.
Even the likes of
in this game
Robobot
yeah.
was really...
and Bandana Waddle Dee.
I don't know, I feel like Robobot was like a really good inclusion. This just kind of seems like more Superstar.
Will be added to
yeah,
the game via
like this is
updates after launch.
Remixing things we've done before. Robobot was like a extension of the Triple Deluxe style, which was a little bit faster and had its own sort of type of level design with its bonus stages and its progression and stuff. and that was an extension of the Return to Dreamland that they started on the Wii, which is very different from Epic Yarn, which was essentially just a platformer that they found a way to stick Kirby inside of.
March 16th, and the first free update will be available March 28th. Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's like
demo is available now.
I don't know what they should do with Kirby other than
friends for?
I don't know. It's like to put it simply, they make the games a bit too damn easy.
Yeah,
just like that's the point, I think, right? They're beginners platformers. Right?
I mean, you can make a game easy. So I like the challenge modes that they have in Return to Dreamland and other Kirby's that get quite challenging, and if going for 100%, it usually gets pretty challenging and things like that. So I don't think these games lack challenge. Kirby Canvas Curse, Kirby Rainbow Curse, and even Mass Attack, like those games, getting the perfects and 100%ing them is really challenging. I haven't done Mass Attack yet. I probably should go back to that because that game's fun. But even if you make your base gameplay really easy or straightforward, it doesn't stop you from adding a hard mode or adding layered challenges and stuff. Like the window is wide open and we have plenty of examples of games that do it. So it's really not a matter of the initial impression of these games. I just don't think there's much to them. That's all.
Are you still gonna buy the game?
No, I don't buy these. No.
Kirby Kid's not gonna buy the new Kirby game.
Man,
false advertising.
I freaking bought Rainbow Curse. It's one of my favorite games. I bought Blowout Blast. It's one of my favorite games. I like the offshoot Kirby's. Believe it or not, I do not like the remake of this same style Kirby over and over. Like I played Crystal Shards, I played Superstar Saga, I played Dreamland, Return to Dreamland, and I think I played every Kirby game except for Air Ride and the one with like the hamster friends. That's on the Super Nintendo.
It's like a
I think that's
true to bring this ragtag of characters together from across the Kirby series.
So here's the crazy part. Blowout Blast was amazing. And if they did this exact game, just like what you see here, but just figured out a way to make it 3D like Blowout Blast, that would have been amazing. I'm telling you. I'm telling you that the simplicity of what you see here in 2D takes on a whole new dimension when you put it in 3D, and you see the levels differently, and the way you move through them is different, and the way your powers are three-dimensionally defined instead of just 2D. And like Kirby's 2D, but it's really just like the space in front of Kirby that you're constantly attacking with your powers. But when you make it in 3D like Blowout Blast, you know, you have elevation, you have height, and you have full 360 aiming that you can shoot deep into the distance with, and man, that game was crisp. So if this game had that basic foundation, I'd be flipping my mind right now.
Yeah, Kirby really needs to like switch things up a little bit. Like Robobot, I think was like,
Kirby Star Allies launches on Nintendo Switch March 16th.
There I go, making a pun.
The first free update will be available March 28th.
Like, did you play a lot of Robobot?
A free demo
I just played the demo.
I think that's like probably like the best, like out of like all the, probably as good as Return to Dreamland, honestly. Like, I think it improves a lot on Triple Deluxe's like puzzly gimmicks, you know.
Friends 4.
Kind of I guess what I'm thinking more of is if Kirby went more of a, you know, smash run kind of approach. You know, just knocking
giant map.
Well, okay, not exactly like that, but just have more emphasize more knocking enemies around and sort of the beat 'em up aspect of it. Because in 2D you attack up, down, left, right, and in Kirby with that multi jump he has. You have much more leeway to do that with Kirby than, you know, Mario or anything like that.
Yeah, using your powers against the enemies is never really that much to it. That's why it really takes those challenge modes to bring out the precision and the move specificity that makes the game challenging and interesting. But yeah, like the just base gameplay is just way, way, way straightforward.
Yeah. Definitely not going to be talking about the platforming when you have a character that can float over every gap.
I mean, it could have been something. It could have been. He's so slow in the air. Kirby's so slow. which is the trade-off. When you jump from the ground, he has decent speed, but when you puff up in the air, he loses a lot of speed. And that's supposed to be the trade-off, but whatever. Okami, I never really liked it too much, and now it's back.
The pacing on the game was pretty good. Like, I have it on PS3, but like, I beat like the first dungeon, and like, it took like a long ass time to get to that first dungeon.
Yeah, the game almost goes out of its way to blur the line between, you know, what's a town, the open field, and when you actually enter a dungeon.
Using the power of the gods. The Celestial Brush.
This looks like the emotion controls might be really good for this game.
It might have touchscreen support.
It does.
Could be cool. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the Wii version of Okami, so I actually really liked the point. I almost don't even understand why this was a PS2 game. That sounds stupid. Why would I want to draw with the analog stick? But the main problem with the Wii version was you couldn't do the dodge because I don't know what they were thinking, but the accelerometer on the nunchuck is how you dodge in a direction, and it just straight up didn't work. Like, you would shake the thing left 5 times in a row, but he would go in a different direction each and every time.
They had directional dodging with that accelerometer?
Yep, and it didn't work.
It's a terrible idea.
Sometimes I wish we had the game breakdown, because there's so many things about so many games that I don't even know what people have tried, let alone how successful they were and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Eat up and throw
so this sushi thing.
On Nintendo Switch? An
oh, hang on, let me get there.
Oh my gosh. I paused it on the stream.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of looks like a fucking mess, to be honest.
What did you say, Tony?
Looks like kind of like a mess. Like, there's like so much stuff going on the screen.
My first impression was, what? Why would you crowd the screen this bad for a simple puzzle/action game? I don't get it. There's no visual continuity with this screenshot. Everything is like on top of each other. The lighting is weird. The edges of the screen are crowded and layered up against each other for the most part. Like, this is bad.
I really hate the character designs. They look like Neopets.
Unlike any other, with conveyor belt sushi action, Sushi, the way of Sushido. The story takes place after
I don't know.
Sushi struggles.
Oh man, in motion it looks like crap too.
Musashi must wage all-out conveyor belt sushi battles to
7 rows of like sushi moving around.
So you can imagine this game's probably like Puzzle Quest, right? Puzzle Quest was essentially a brain-dead, bejeweled puzzle game that they added RPG elements to, which also added layers like when to save up your meter, when to use your potions, when to use your specials, like stuff like that made it a little bit more strategic. So you weren't quite at the mercy of the random RNG, whatever. And that's what Puzzle Quest was. It was interesting when I played the original, and then they kept making more. I'm like, whatever, it's neat for the first one, but otherwise we can clearly see that this base concept doesn't have very far that it can go. But this game, you match up sushi based on color, and then you just kind of like
eat more and more sushi.
It looks like they highlight all the ones that you can possibly match up. And it looks like the middle lane is called the shared lane. Yeah, the middle lane is called the shared lane. So the back 3 lanes are what they have to work with. The front 3 lanes are what you have to work with. But at any time, if you have a possible match in the shared lane, you can snag it. Whatever that means. But the basic setup looks a little bit like Tetris Push from Tetris DS. It looks a little bit like Frogger because your cursor that you're moving can only hop like, 1 lane at a time, and I don't know if you can even hop across the lane if there's a gap, so it has a Frogger-esque like limitation there.
Strategies to crush your enemies. If you manage to pull off a special move created by one of your sushi sprites, you may be able to get the upper hand in battle. Of course, there's
I don't even know how the game controls.
Battling fellow sushi strikers
it kind of looks like it's touch, but you can see the analog stick with the arrow on the cursor pointing at the next area that the sushi cursor is going to jump to. So really,
The Way of
probably
Tsushima
just
launches
analog stick and
simultaneously
button.
on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo 3DS June 8th.
It's coming to 3DS as well? You don't have enough room on the 3DS.
Traveler.
Oh, so when
It was originally on the 3DS.
when I first saw that screenshot, the HUD on the around the edges, my first impression was this game is cramped. It's as if they took a whole other screen's worth of data and shoved it on the edges. And I think they did that. Like, no joke. I was like, so I was looking at the UI design of Brain Age because I'm designing Enlighten and I'm really trying to figure out how to use my screen space well. And I was like, wouldn't it be convenient if I had a whole nother screen to put Gritchard, right? Because he can always stay there and it's just super convenient. Well, the DS's dual screen design makes certain UI elements, challenges really convenient and effective and easy. And then right when I saw that game, I was like, it's like they had it easy and now they're just taking the cheap way out by just putting it all around the edges.
More details and more launch info.
Hello.
So now we have
This is
Octopath
Masashi
Traveler. I'm
Taka
going to skip
from Hijab.
ahead.
Her
Marcus
path
played through
action
the
is
demo. He played it for
fire.
about an hour, 2 hours.
He can work.
He said it was
the
kind of
merchant
interesting
Tressa equips
that
the dancer job.
the way the same characters go over the same places but can do different things because of their innate ability was interesting. I think for the most part, RPG battle systems try their hardest to try to, you know, make some varied and interesting challenges, but they really do have some huge hurdles that I don't think they can overcome very easily. So regardless of seeing these little icons on these enemies and these question marks, like, if this game is anything like Bravely Default, what's interesting about the battle is not going to be how deep it is. It's just going to be how many different things you can try without getting bored throughout the length of your standard gameplay length.
Finally, we know many of
But I like the
we
look.
released the
Soul.
Octopath Traveler.
July 13th.
What happens when an otaku
Oh, so no more
assassin
heroes.
enters the game world? The legendary
Very
gaming
different
console,
from the
Death Drive
Yes, it
Travis
is.
Touchdown wanders into the game world.
It's more like a spin-off.
Death Drive
That's why they didn't just
I've
call it
heard
No
like
More Heroes 3.
something that like there's like 2 game modes. Like there's like a normal like normal heroes mode, and then there's like these other like mini games with it. Could have overheard some stuff
racing, puzzles,
wrong.
a total of 7 different game types.
Yeah, it says there's 7 different games.
Katana in hand, he vows to exterminate every last bug he finds.
So essentially, the basic idea of having these game types, nothing's wrong with that. And the combat in Octo was too slow for Nate. I just played Nex Machina on PS4, and that game is great. It's a twin-stick shooter with co-op and all these cool things that happen. Potentially, each one of these games could be, you know, good to great, just like that, right? So it really doesn't bother me that there's 7 of them or they're mini games or whatever. Like, make a good game, period.
Mm-hmm.
Each of the micro mini games in Rusty's Real Deal are great. So like, if you made a game as good as that for this, I'd be happy.
Chain his simple yet exhilarating basic
Yeah, like I'm not upset that they're like Squid is trying to like do something different with No More Heroes, you know.
brutal boss lurks at the end of each game.
So far,
To crush them.
looking at this, the one thing that
Pass a Joy-Con
stands out to
controller
me
a
is that
friend
you
for
have
level
a top-down sort of twin-stick shooter-esque setup, but the difference is that it's, you know, based on melee attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is, he can also swing his sword and run at the same time, so it's not like Zelda either in that aspect.
partner up with the
So
one
it's sort of
and
in
only
between those two.
Did we
Kind
Kind of like
the
Strider.
Leveling.
Did we
Okay.
mention the adventure
This is some
mode,
clean
which tells a
graphics
new
right
story?
here.
Very
Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, launches
It has
exclusively on
co-op
Nintendo
too,
Switch in
and
2018.
Yeah, that's nice.
In Dark Souls, every
Dark Souls.
Oh, the
Okay.
action.
Skipping ahead.
Astora
I was gonna. I was gonna say the action in
That My Nintendo members can now
this spin-off game might actually be better than the original game, because the original game, no
Has-
offenses,
has style, but no substance.
I have nostalgia for it, but yeah, it's pretty damn one note.
I mean, I just did what the game told me, and I just skipped the first one and went straight to the sequel.
Oh wow.
I don't think the sequel is any different.
No, this is a joke, because like literally the first thing the game tells you, like when you play the sequel, is like the character's like, oh yeah, no one's gonna play the first game, they're gonna go straight to the sequel. Not even joking.
That's weird. Okay.
You're very not really good combat. Just sort of just turn your brain off and look at images for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe this world is filled with many different people that all have different tastes and experiences. But sometimes I'm like, I can't believe you made this. Like, you just think this is good enough for an entire game? Maybe for like 2 seconds. Or like a mini game. Like, if you were playing a different game genre, like an RPG, and then you went to a little action mini game like that, you're like, oh, that's good enough for a little diversion. Cool. But come on, that's your main combat. Honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and this... yeah, you were going to say something?
Never. I was just saying I was going to skip ahead to Mario Tennis.
Oh, okay. My only comment on the Dark Souls was that, boy, it looks a lot like the... It looks exactly the same. I can't see where the remaster is.
Yeah, like it just seems like the same game, except with high resolution. And
did they say if they were going to change any of the gameplay?
Yeah, they're gonna like add, like there can be more players and multiplayer in a single instance. I think like 6 now. Like there might be some subtle changes, but so far it's not like a big graphical overhaul.
Fix the fucking camera. God. I mean, I was just editing that video today and is surprised that wow, that camera is bad.
You know what's weird? Horizon doesn't have a lock-on camera, and it also doesn't give you a 180-degree turn. So turning around that game is freaking boring. You just hold the direction and you're like, okay, come on. Slow moving cursor.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Adrian?
Yeah?
I'm gonna need to like talk to you about like Dark Souls camera a while back. I really want to know your perspective.
Oh, actually, yeah, you know what? I really just need to get on my ass and finish that video, because it was actually supposed to be about Breath of the Wild. But Dark Souls, Metal Gear Rising, actually even No More Heroes, all of them do the same mistake, so I just need to make a video on that already. Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Starting tennis.
Still buying that amiibo.
So I played Mario Tennis on the N64. I played a little bit on the GameCube. I played Monkey Ball Tennis on Super Monkey Ball 2.
Mario Tennis Aces.
And I played Wii Tennis.
So, playable characters, each with their own distinct
and in general, I can't say that I played these games very like to a deep level, but in general, I don't like these tennis games.
Today we'll mainly cover the essentials of the refined tennis gameplay.
Wasn't expecting to hear you say that.
There's a variety of
Why is that?
I think they're fun. Like I love Wii Tennis, so like super motion controls, like give me that all day. And I like Monkey Ball Tennis because it was a party game and it was pretty simple, but it got the job done in a pretty effective way. But in general, I think tennis in real life is a really simple sport. You just hit the ball back and forth. The thing that makes it hard is you got to actually move your body. You got to actually see the ball moving at high speeds in 3D space. You got to actually use strength to hit it back, and that takes its toll on you. And that's why they also have like a lot of rounds in tennis, because it's pretty simple and the scoring's pretty simple. So they got to stretch that out so that, you know, player skill and differentiation is consistent enough. So the sport is pretty simple. A lot of that doesn't translate with the basic way these tennis games are set up, where you just hit a button for lob, you hit a button for top spin, and you just kind of hit left and right? Like, oh, my opponent's his left, I'll hit it right, or whatever. And there's a little bit of mix-ups that you can do there based on real-time gameplay, but I always felt like if you do button-based tennis shots, it's just not interesting enough. So, games like Mario Tennis...
Like, you think it's no better than ping pong? You think it's like no better than Pong for like the Atari? In terms of like simplicity, or...
It's still better than Pong, because knowing how to defend against a lob shot and topspin and where to position your character, that is a thing. I just didn't feel like it had enough. So the games knew this, and like we just can't have people return volleying back and forth forever. Like there's not a lot of skill there, and it's easy to react to. So what they did was, okay, we'll do these star shots, and I think the star shots are given to your opponent when you sort of take the easy counter to a shot that they did to you. So your counters pretty much have to match or step up the level of difficulty. So if they topspin at you, if you don't topspin back, or if you don't time it right, the ball will shank up high, and that'll give your opponent the ability to stand in the star, the little icon, and then hit a power shot, which is much faster, harder to react to, and they can angle it or whatever. And that's essentially a way of saying, like, you didn't play tennis right. Here's a really clear way for both players to know what's going on. But even still, I felt like that could only go so far. So what we see in this video is they go over a lot of the basics. Oh, what I do like about Mario Tennis is if you read what your opponent's going to do, because it's so easy just to point your character in the right direction and hit the ball back, if you read what your opponent's going to do, anticipate it, you can actually get to the spot early and then start charging. And when you charge, you either get more meter or you get more speed, and that was supposed to make the difference.
And a lob that'll zoom
that
over
was
your
supposed to make the difference in your positioning and how you play, right? Oh, I read you, I got the extra charge, I put you on the back foot, now you're reacting to me instead of me reacting to you, stuff like that. Like, all that is actually pretty interesting. Yeah.
Just to name a few.
So it's definitely much more complex than Pong. There's things going on, but as far as what the fun of tennis and the joy of tennis, I feel like it's such a tactile experience. It's why I don't play a lot of sport games anyway, because I just feel like there's a real basic part of the experience that they can't emulate very well. But this new target shot is kind of interesting. I don't know if both players can see this happening on the screen. I'm gonna say they don't.
I'm wondering how that works, like in two-player, like on a single switch.
New zone shot. It lets you pinpoint any spot you want to aim at using motion controls and send the ball.
I love it how the zone shot uses motion controls. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So Mario Strikers Charge is one of the best games, period. One of the best sports games, especially. And what they did was, when you charge up a multi-shot and fire multiple balls at the goal, you have to use the pointer control to click on the very different parts of the screen to stop it as the goalie. And by changing to motion controls there, not only was it like a different game feel, but it's really interesting. That's why I really think that using motion controls for this one aspect of the game is also a really interesting and probably good choice.
Mm-hmm. Zone shots are really powerful, so if you get hit by one, your racket will take some damage.
I like the feedback. Too early. I paused it on the feedback. I also like it that Luigi didn't go, "Oh no, too early." Instead, just put the text up there. Like, we have a game to play.
If your racket takes 3 hits, it'll break.
I'm liking like old like the meters they've added to just like breaking people's like volleyballs is a thing, a strategy now.
Yeah, so
I mean, there's sticks or whatever we call them.
A dual win condition, which I think is really interesting. It's very I've never even heard of that for other tennis games. So you're like, oh, if we're going to put all these special shots in the game. So overall, they took away the silly shots, I think, from the previous Mario Tennis game that was on GameCube and maybe even on the 3DS, which I didn't check out the 3DS one at all. But, like, oh, instead of having the characters, like, throw bananas around or go crazy and do the stuff, like, let's just have them play tennis. And now there's 2 win conditions: break their racket or beat them in points. So now it's a much more complex decision making of, do I defend? And I think if you mistime your defenses, you take more damage or whatever. So it's like, you can defend properly if you have the skills, but are you going to risk it? So now the whole gameplay seems to be much more like targeting aspects of your opponent's game, of their skill level, and then pressing on those things with different strategies. And that seems like a much more robust competitive game.
But don't give up hope. You can stop a zone shot with a block. Return a shot with perfect timing, and you'll block, protecting your racket.
That's cool.
It's no small feat to nail the timing just right. That's where zone speed comes into play. When using zone speed, the world around you moves in slow motion, allowing you to
I feel like this game is kind of like an apology for that Wii U version. I heard that one's like a real stinker.
But it makes it a bit easier to block powerful zone shots.
So, the slow-mo thing, I'm questioning a little bit. Obviously, you can balance out something like this by having it take up more meter, but essentially having a super shot be blocked by like a super defense, that's usually what you don't want to do in a game. So we can compare that easily to Splatoon. In Splatoon, you earn your specials. When you die, you lose what you earned, half of it. So you're like, okay, don't die. It's always the point of Splatoon. Kill the other people. That's always the point of Splatoon game type, no matter what the game type is. But when they do get the special, there's interplay for a lot of it, like splatting the people before they shoot off missiles, shooting their, what is it called? Baller, and popping their hamster ball, like all kinds of things, right? But the one thing you can't do is just cancel their super, right? So like if they do something, you either have to get out of the way because their super is effective, or challenge it with your own super, but nothing gets canceled. Everything sort of still exists at the same time, and that's when you get these really crazy moments of like 2 ballers bumping each other, or 2 splashdowns, or 2 jetpacks, or any other combination. It just gets really interesting really fast. I'm not so sure about having a super that basically says like, you got a speed boost, well I got a slow down time boost. You know, like that cancels it effectively.
Of course,
and
you can't just
that's the only
spam
thing
zone
that
shots and
I'm
zone
worried
speed
about
the
when
whole
I see
match.
these zone speed.
You can only initiate these moves by using up some of your energy gauge. The energy gauge slowly fills up the longer you keep a rally going.
I guess your energy gauge only fills up when you keep a rally going, so if you're not good at rallying, you're going to be losing points, and then I think you're going to give your opponent an energy advantage anyway.
But the fastest way to fill up your gauge,
So that's
Yeah, I was thinking.
slippery slope. It's a neat way.
Yeah. Damn, you stole the word from me.
If a ball gets away from you, you can jump over to knock it back. It's a risky maneuver. If you don't judge the timing or distance correctly, you may waste your energy or lose a point.
So now we have zone shots. I forgot what they're called. The power run thingy. And we have trick shots. Or no, we have jumps. So it looks like the way that they simplified tennis for video games is they created a triangle, right? And this is pretty much how it works in normal tennis, but just like rock, paper, scissors, the interplay triangle, lobs, slices, and topspin are your interplay triangle, and lobs can beat someone, you know, using topspin and playing close to the net to try to, you know, return faster. Slices can fake someone out when they think you're going to lob because they'll back up and then the ball curves away from them, so on and so forth. So I feel like normal tennis has a bit of a triangle, but what this game did was add a layer on top of that. That's another triangle that twists, like sits right on top of it. And these triangles are all the video gamey thingies, like trick shots, your slow down time, and your power shot. So like, oh, on top of the normal game of tennis, when we use our cool Mario video gamey things, we take it up to another triangle that exists on this higher level. And because the higher level has a decay dynamic with the meter, you can expect the flow of the battle to be like up, down, up, down. And some parts are going to be pure tennis and some parts are going to be pure crazy, but you're going to have a good mix.
But if you're successful, your energy gauge will get a big boost.
That's what I imagine this game is going to be like. It's a dual triangle.
Initiate your ultimate shot, the special shot.
And then there's the special
It
shot.
will eat up your energy in a big way, but this thing can really turn into
Yeah, zone shot, trick shot, and speed zone. I forgot what it was called already. Zone speed. There we go.
Special shot guarantees
Is a trick shot like a move that uses meter, or is it just like another move that you can do normally.
I don't know.
Your energy gauge could be the key to victory.
Because when Mario landed that trick shot, he gained meter out of it. So I'm thinking it's like something you're rewarded for doing.
Oh, so these trick shots, I guess these trick shots are different for every character, and like the thing I said with charging, you have to anticipate and aim really well to get it, timing-wise. And every character is going to be different, just like Mario Striker's charge. The way they move, the way they juke or deke, it's going to be different.
It's no small feat to nail the timing just right. That's where
Oop, I went back too far.
Fastest way to fill up your
yeah, it's a classic high risk, high reward. Make it so it's easier for you to get your special shot.
Away from you, you can jump over to knock it back. It's a risky maneuver.
So they said these trick shots, these jumping things, or these whatevers are risky. So I think the easiest way to stop someone from being greedy is like, oh, you think I'm going to hit it, you know, across court again? Well, slice or drop shot or whatever, and that's when it returns back to tennis, which is pretty cool. Because otherwise, I just don't think you can get the same kind of engagement and back and forth you have in tennis if the competency in which players can do all the main types of shots is so easily obtained.
But if you're successful, your energy gauge will get a big boost.
And only when your meter is full can you do these
go time. Initiate your
special
ultimate shot, the special shot. It will eat up your energy in a big way, but this thing can really turn.
Did you realize that when you're aiming the little touch, the motion control aimer, that it takes up your meter?
This thing can really turn
yeah. So the more time you spend trying to aim it, the more you lose.
The special shot. It will eat up your energy in a big way.
And the aimer always starts in the middle of the court, so any time you want to aim farther away from your opponent, it takes up more and more of your meter, right?
I see like people like who get good at the game is like doing like quick little flicks, just to throw the player off, maybe, and save up as much meter as possible.
Your energy gauge could be the key to victory. Will you use it for an offensive zone shot? Or use it for some defensive zone speed? Let's say you go for the zone shot. Will you go for a surefire point? Or will you try to destroy your opponent's racket and run the risk of getting blocked? Non-stop, split-second strategies may be the best part about Mario Tennis Aces.
They have some pretty good descriptive lines to describe, you know, what it is about the gameplay that you're supposed to understand. And after explaining all that, saying non-stop split-second strategies is what makes the game so fun. You're like, that's probably a really good way to describe it. Because like the basic gameplay in the core may not be too complicated, but the fact that you're just like, okay, back forth, back forth, back forth, back forth. That's what makes action games so interesting.
Using simple rules, which means only basic shots are allowed.
Simple looks really boring.
And matchmaking special outfits to use your Joy-Con like a tennis.
I think it's also important how the racket damage is one of the zone shots. So it's another reason to get you to use it. It's like, why aim my ball when I can just hit it whenever I want? It's like, no, you want it so you can break the racket. Which plays into that game of building up meter so you can up your offense and defense. More and more to get the players to do riskier, more advanced maneuvers.
The game offers a refined approach to tennis gameplay, focusing on deep strategic payoffs.
Focusing on deep strategic payoffs. They're saying it. They're saying the words.
To the good old game of tennis. Mario Tennis
622.
is for your
Sure. That's tennis.
Captain around for Nintendo
Now we're on
Switch.
Captain Toad.
Garden called
Not much to say except for New Donk looks amazing.
New Donk City.
It's also coming out on 3DS
Captain Toad
apparently.
Played with a friend by sharing a pair of Joy-Con
I thought it was just coming out on the Switch.
While one player controls Captain Toad, the other can assist with things like turnip cover fire, so you can enjoy tracking treasure together. We also plan to release a Nintendo 3DS version with 3D
I thought
visuals and
the
touchscreen
multiplayer was gonna be
controls.
like
It feels
more
like you're
substantial.
in
It's just
Lost
kind of like
Garden
buddy
right in your
mode
hands.
from Galaxy games.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker launches July 3rd. Who turned out the lights?
Undertale, not much to say.
Gaming Icon. The
Crash, get out of my face.
If it was just like Crash 2 remastered, like that would be okay, that would be acceptable. But don't never show me Crash Bandicoot 1. That's an insult.
This little nightmares.
I actually played it. It's kind of like Inside, but with more three-dimensional depth.
That's what I thought.
You can play around. It was okay.
We're excited
Next.
to
Really
creators of
short
South
game.
Park come
South Park.
The time
Old news.
DLC will be available at releases.
I remember playing like the first South Park game. It was just kind of like Paper Mario, but like sometimes Cartman says something about the Jewish people.
Only on Nintendo Switch.
So Hyrule Warriors coming.
This.
Don't care.
The Arms League is pleased doing
I
all the
wish
to announce
someone
the Arms
like Hyrule
US,
Warriors
Canada,
existed, but it wasn't like Dynasty Warriors combat, you know?
Yeah, they wasted the attempt at an action-based Zelda on freaking stupid Dynasty Warriors.
Like, are there any of them good?
I don't think so.
The development of Arms at the Game
But
Developers
I
Conference.
played that one. That
And
one was
Hisashi
kind of crap.
Nogami
You
will
were just
present
like walking
separately on the
around
Splatoon
doing
franchise.
nothing,
This
killing
sucks.
shit.
The one GDC I don't go, they get to, they have an Arms talk. Building Mario Kart 8 insights into a showcase Nintendo Switch fighter. Come on.
I do want.
They took the insights from a racing game and built a freaking fighting game. That's a freaking kind of talk I want to go to. I want to shake his hand, Mr. Yabuki.
What if he tears off your arms and
That'd be
he
fine.
just does it?
Just put
News bulletin.
springs in your arms.
I do want to see that talk
100
though.
new
Like I
pieces
want
of
to
gear.
see how they
Fresh looks.
went from Mario
Just in
Kart 8
time
to
for
arms.
spring.
Yabuki, I wish. So now we got new clothes, 100 pieces of new clothes. And we have Camp Triggerfish. Camp Triggerfish.
And the hottest
Hotspot for Hip Inklings Wahoo World.
Need to get
spot
back
for the
in
hippest
Splatoon.
Inklings. Wahoo
Not
World.
touch that game in like a while.
And what? Rank X is here.
Rank X.
Rank X is an extreme rank, even higher than S+. More
I'm
details
still
are
in
coming.
rank B.
Rank up,
Last
calculating
time I played.
X. That's weird. So they just showed a person rank
Is an
up to
extreme
X
rank.
from S plus
Even
9,
higher.
right? What the heck is that supposed to mean?
Higher than S+.
S plus 9 gets up to 10
More
and
detail.
then goes into X. So are they getting rid of everything past X plus 10? Or X plus, yeah, S
Details are
plus 10.
coming soon. Once you meet certain conditions, Callie will appear in Octo Canyon. To evolve, so don't miss out. Heard from the Squid Research.
And then we have this
Here's a
really long
character.
trailer. I think the main Agent 8's Octoling face looks a little weird.
I don't know. It looks okay to me. Like maybe just the eyes.
It's something about how, like...
Maybe it's because like all the Inklings have like that little like face mask thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird to have a character with an actual like face.
I just think, like, we've been looking at Marina, right, and Pearl, but Marina, for a while, Marina has a really detailed and unique face. This looks more like a generic face, which is what you'd find in the multiplayer. Like, oh, just get it like a
I think
generic...
that's exactly it.
Yeah, so
I think maybe you
she
make your
doesn't
own
look like a
Octo 8.
character.
It could be that you just create your own Octoling.
So, yeah, and something about how, like, her nose looks like it's a tiny bump and her lips don't look like they're rendered. Just, like, she looks a little weird, but then the other shot, she looks much better. And she's also tall.
Is he?
She's taller than the Inklings.
Oh really?
Well, yeah, they made the Inklings generally taller in Splatoon 2.
The music in that trailer was a banger now. 2018 banger, for real. Yeah, fun fact, Pearl and Marina, like, they're Tupac and Biggie, and I think that's really cool.
Apparently they're growing Octoling. She must be a clone. That's why she doesn't remember her memories. 80 levels?
How many did the original game have?
30.
Oh, shit. How much do you think it's gonna be like remixed levels or remixed bosses?
No, this looks like all brand new stuff.
So the one level she's getting chased down by a jetpack and she's running towards the camera. And then she has specials. Man.
I like that hamster ball segment.
This one ball, it's shooting through a whole bunch of calamari rings. And then she has this huge... Like, some of the ideas in Splatoon single player are so amazing. Like, Super Mario Sunshine-esque shooting levels where you're jumping on platforms that are rotating and falling and all this cool stuff. I just think the single player is a little boring. Parts of it don't gel right. The continuity of the environments that they created just out of floating pieces is just kind of hard to wrap your brain around. I just feel like there's a lot of elements in it.
Test facility.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I'm starting to think down that like the reason why the Octo kind of looks weird is because it's just like a default model, and like you can make your own Octoling on your own. That's what I'm thinking.
Look how crazy this is. What is going on? This is so Kid Icarus surprising. The little cool tracks, but flying around in a circle and then having all these targets move, like,
shedding new light on beloved.
That reminds me of like the I don't know why I'm getting the vibes of like the rail shooters segment from Mario Sunshine. Literal.
I didn't realize the Octolings have their eyes separated from the black connections.
Yeah, I was about to say it's that little black strand in the middle that goes across their nose that's missing. That I think that might be it. Because they do still have the black things around the eyes. It just doesn't go up the bridge of their nose.
Matches as an Octoling.
And you notice it when you see them standing next to the regular Inklings.
I think their eyes are they're bigger and they're further apart, or maybe it's just the black. Maybe that's the only difference. But man, it makes their faces look different. They look
there's male Octolings.
They look more like little humans to me.
Yeah, they do. Humans with weird octopus tentacles on their head
and swaying hips.
Yeah, that's too.
Wait, don't they all sway their hips?
You bet.
Will that change my answer, Tony?
I don't know. All I know is I'm gonna call the police.
Yeah, this is the best. This Smash Brothers. Can't believe it.
That was really Smash Bros. 5. It's gonna have Pilgrim Doughboy. It's gonna have Gecko Gecko. It's gonna be great.
Look how fast they're running.
I know. Jesus Christ! You can see the Kid Icarus like that he mixed in the Splatoon.
This was
oh my god!
So good.
Smash Brothers. We were trying to look at Mario had Cappy's hat on. He doesn't.
No, they're gonna add Cappy. He's gonna make a separate character. It's just gonna be like a Mario robot with Cappy on it.
Maybe Cappy will be an item and anybody can wear him, just like the Tanuki tail.
Maybe.
Could you like possess? That'd be funny, just being able to possess anybody else and just killing someone else.
Well, and I would say Nintendo Direct.
I had the Wild Link. That's like was throwing me off, you know, because I'm thinking it could just be a port, but then they just purposely show Breath of the Wild Link. So now I'm not sure.
They're just gonna probably add in a few new things, but look at that release date, it's 2018, so you know, just a few more touches and then that's it. It's good to go.
We have no idea.
Yeah,
Sakurai tweeted.
I mean, if they
working on it.
Okay, if he's actually just been working on a full-fledged new Smash that plays completely differently from Smash 4, then wow,
that'd be insane.
He works fast.
How could it play completely differently? Like, that's unrealistic.
Unless it's in 3D. Completely different.
Well, I mean, I consider the changes between each Smash to be, well, different enough that it's substantial. So that's what I mean with that.
Yeah, I'm just expecting the same everything, but more characters and levels and stuff.
Same.
And they're probably going to get Smash Run to work on the Switch.
Yeah, it's portable, so it makes sense to have it on there.
Yeah, I just got like word from Sakurai. There's gonna be this new mechanic in the Smash Bros. Game. Like, and every time like you play really well against a player, the game can just randomly crash. Balance.
That's a feature of open world games that are not made by Nintendo. Softbody was crashing.
I mean, you could just say Bethesda. You could just say Bethesda.
I didn't want to name names. Okay. Yeah, I almost beat all the levels of hard on Softbody, and I beat about half of them on hard plus. So you know that game, so frustrating. I was like, I bet you this game's like a 6.5 or a 7, and I checked Metacritic and it got a 69, and I was like, yep, that's pretty much how I imagine other people would take to this game. And one review was like, it has flashes of brilliance, but it's really just submerged in all this other annoying stuff. I'm like, yep, that's the hardest part about having even a neat idea when you're making a game. Like, how do I make this neat idea the takeaway that everyone walks away with and with smiles on their face? And half the time you're just exploring your own tastes and your own thoughts when you're building it, so you're not really worried about what other people may think. And then all of a sudden you're like, I've been working on this for 1.5 years, I need to get this out. And then it just is what it is.
I think, I don't know, just from watching you play, done is not make it one of those do it perfect in one go kind of games. Like maybe allow, you know, you to take damage or something to yourself. I mean, that allows for
games could use health systems.
I feel like the game overkilled a lot when it's like, hey, either of your thingies gets touched, you die instantly. And then they also have bullets flying around and all these other enemies. Like, wouldn't it make more sense if only the enemies could kill you with their body or bullets? And then every other hazard, like, stuns you, right? So you're like, oh, you can take these minor hits and try to survive by after the stun wears off or whatever, but then it's still dangerous because, you know, you need all the control you can get. Yeah, maybe that would have been a cool way of doing it.
Yeah.
But, you know,
it just allows, you know, you want to at least have some
leeway.
Skill spectrum. I don't know what I want to say, but just like when you make it so that the only way is to basically get it perfect, you don't allow much room for, you know, players with different skills to, you know, play your game.
Yeah, like if you can't adjust the difficulty based on your own choices, you can't find your flow zone, and if you can't find your flow zone, most likely the entire game experience is going to be more frustrating than not. There was nothing in that game where I played it and I'm like, I want to play that again. You're like, nope, I'm done with that. Just move on.
I feel like Softbody's a game that's like really interesting to watch and not really one I'm interested in playing. Like the sound design in that game was like really nice, but I feel like
I think I got pretty good at actually controlling two things simultaneously, but there's so many design issues that come up. Maybe I should play some and talk to you guys about it at the same time. What do you say?
Okay.
Sure, do it.
Let's hope it doesn't crash everything. But so many design issues. It's just so easy to talk about, but just hard to nail when you're making your own game. I'm assuming whatever, I think it's a he. Your designer wants you to control two things at once, but the game is widescreen. You can't focus on two things at once, right? So you are going to be relying a lot on your peripheral vision. You guys can see that? Okay, cool.
Hang on. I just gotta get back on Twitch. Okay.
You're going to be relying a lot on your peripheral vision. And to just basically keep track of both your dudes. And that's extremely difficult when you make the bullets and things on the screen incredibly tiny. So like, I'll show you an example of a level that was like, are you kidding me? Here's hard mode. Where is it? Go all the way here. It's called like Holy Chicken, Good Lovin', Service Hermits, 3 Circles, Stay in a Circle. Check what's like So this one, the red line follows the blue character, and the blue character is the only one that can guide this ball into the zone like that by following the line. And as soon as you do that, right, the field opens up and now you've got a blue character following the red guy and the red guy following the blue line, and then they're not allowed to crisscross, right? So you're playing and that was close. You're playing and you're trying to like free up some space, right? Like this, and then like cut your friend out of the hole so then they could go out like this, and then you're trying to get around while dodging the other thing, which I just did successfully for some reason, and then you're trying to get this in here and dodge that, and you're trying to get this in here, and you're trying to do that, and you're what's happening? I've never survived this long while talking. It's funny. But like, look how convoluted this little network is. So like, I gotta cut my way out of here. So
Holy sh!
you try to cut your way out, and then you're like, oh shoot, and then like come around with this.
It's like almost like a sort of bullet hell.
Yeah.
All the bullets just don't move.
They don't. So I was like, why don't they disappear after a while? I think that would make this mode a lot more fun. Like, I know it's intense to try to like do it all without having them disappear, but I'm controlling two things at once. Are you kidding me? And then I died. But you're supposed to be guiding that little dot around the second set of obstacles, but I just couldn't even get back to that zone because everything was getting so intense. So this is a pretty intense level, but if you're controlling both at once and not going back and forth, kind of like what I was doing, you have to use your peripheral vision to see what's on the outer edges. And like, they made the dangerous element these tiny pulsating little dots. Why? Why? Like, there's a fidelity issue where you're like, you want the bullets to be large and in charge. You never want to be confused about, is that a bullet? You always want to be able to see it and feel it coming, right? And
I know why they did it.
Why?
They made everything small because that's the only way you can have something move fast but still see everything that's coming ahead. It's the same reason with Super Meat Boy why he's just like a tiny block of pixels. And he's like a 36th of the screen.
I mean, Meat Boy as a character kind of works. He's just like red and he pops out of everything.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the explanation for why everything's so tiny is because, you know, that's how you can have them move so fast, but without, you know, the issues that you see in something like Sonic the juggle. Oh, I hit something that I couldn't see. It's like, no, because you can see almost everything on the screen.
See how they take away your color on this one? And now your two things are like the same color? Why would they do that? I beat it. So that was like an example of a hard level. So look at this level. The big ring always goes after this white dude. And the white dude's the only one that can push this ball around. So then the black dude has to stay alive inside, or on the outside of the ring. And then you're supposed to get it through this obstacle course. Oh, messed that one up. So that one's hard. But then... and then there's like another one that's about as hard. Electric fence. So this one, if you pass by that line, it electrocutes briefly after you pass through with either of your characters, right? So you have to take this black one and push this ring, but every time you push the ring, it fires, right? So then you have to take turns crossing this electric fence, push the ball around, but then the thing in the middle spawns enemies. And you're like, are you kidding me? So as you're juggling these two different colors, one inside of a death ring that's following one of your characters, you also have to coordinate and get this ball to move around the circle.
So it's a case of too much happening at once?
Not yet. So this is pushing it, but look, the enemy comes out. The enemy moves in a random freaking direction. He just does whatever he wants. And you're like, the enemy makes things hard. And the enemy spawns on a timer. So you're like, okay, maybe if I can get used to the timers on the stage, I can always be there before the enemy comes out, right?
It reminds me of the nightmares from X6.
So look, then the enemy shoots a freaking missile. You see that? You'll see it in a few seconds. So the enemies not only come out, but they shoot missiles at you, and the missile is really hard to dodge, especially when you're doing all the other things and dodging the electric fence.
This is bullshit.
This is one of the last levels on hard. This is the last level on hard. So I'm like, are you kidding me? And the worst part is, like, everything but like the last thing I described is pretty manageable. Like, I can manage enemies, I can manage even a little bit of the random movement, and I can manage these electric fences, right? But it's just the fact that they shoot like a homing missile that just like pushed it over the edge for me. I was like, well, are you trying to kill me? Like this. See that missile? You'll see the missile in a few seconds. That missile's trying to kill me.
Well, sometimes it doesn't even shoot missiles. Sometimes just
sometimes they just do the randomness. The middle guy sprays, but the enemies can come out, go in a random direction, and then just like frickin' do whatever they want, or shoot a missile immediately instead of waiting. So right now I'm managing it, right? It's not too hard. It's pretty hard, but not too hard. Like, this is how the game is played. Like, this is me playing on my feet, not memorizing a particular level combination and playing it, but it just takes forever. But that was an example of when things got pretty freaking intense. But I beat all of these on hard, except for this level, which I just cannot beat. It's the most straightforward level you can imagine. You're in these circles, and one goes right and one goes left, and you just keep them in the circles for 2 full rotations. Of the yellow one.
Hey, that one seemed like the most fair challenge.
I can't do it. It's so hard. It's so hard. But on hard plus, the little blue guy in the middle is inside of a circle that's even tighter, so I don't think I'll be beating that one.
Also, there's like another set of hard levels. On top of these.
Hard plus.
Oh boy.
So then I'll show you. So the same level, hard plus, looks like this. Essentially the same challenge, just no leeway for the middle one. Less leeway.
It's like trying to pat your head and rub your tummy.
I'm kind of doing it. Oh my gosh, I die there. That's as far as I get, like, every single time. It's something about, like, I need to... So, like, here's the cool part about playing this game, which I was saying it on the other stream. What we're learning from Enlighten, and hopefully proving to the world, is that things are complicated not because of their apparent complexity. They're complicated because getting whatever the complexity is in your head gets pretty tricky almost immediately. So a lot of people will look at this game and be like, oh, doing two things at once. I can't do two things at once. And that's why the game's hard. Well, technically doing two... Oh, this level's a piece of trash. Doing two things at once is just like doing one thing at once, right? Or like... apparently doing two things at once that take up two different parts of your brain is easy, like eating and walking, like walking and talking, like we can do that. So like, okay, well, we just gotta recognize what this game is asking of us, and then we need to try to figure out how best to learn in that environment. So then it's just like Enlighten, it's about the chunks that you make, and not necessarily about the raw sort of execution that you might think it takes. And then once I started thinking like that, I'm like, oh, well, what is the chunk that I need to make for this? What is the pattern? What is the one takeaway that I need to keep in mind? See, I was able to do that one. Wow. What oh, I forgot to make the other guy. But yeah, so like, when I was playing this game, I'm like, okay, think of something, think your way through it, like, and if you're able to think clearly, that's going to allow you to not be overwhelmed by the fact that you're doing two things at once, because essentially, individually, these challenges are easy. Like, if I didn't have to worry about that black squiggle, it's, you know, it's easy. And you put two easy things together and make people do them simultaneously, just like Miyamoto said, that's when the real trickiness comes into play. So, this game, even though it seems a little abstract and a little bit unconventional compared to most skills and activities that video games test you on, it's actually a lot like playing piano. And the main reason why people say they can't play piano is they say they can't master doing one thing with one hand and the other thing with the other because it's, you know, tricky. That's exactly what you're seeing here. So I was like, okay, I remember learning piano for the first time. Like, I remember doing all this stuff. Oops. It's just a matter of getting your head thinking in the right direction, and everything just sort of lines up appropriately. Like, you'd be surprised at how much easier it is to play Enlighten once you start naming shapes. But then, like, shouldn't that be the case for everything? This game is easier once you recognize very clear patterns, techniques, and opportunities to pull off these techniques, and it straightens your brain out. So while it looks very foreign, it's actually the same kind of difficulty as everything else. And once you believe that, managing this game gets a little better. But that's why I complain about a lot of the design issues, like not being able to see clearly with your peripheral vision is not something that you can get better at by thinking clearly. That's just like a limitation of human eyes and fidelity of gameplay. That's why we have best design practices versus like anything else is just preference or flavor or up to your own taste. Have you ever heard of that mental challenge where you try to draw a picture of a 5-point star, but you do it in a mirror? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
You set the mirror in front of a person and a piece of paper and a pad in front of the mirror, and you say draw a 5-point star, and then but you only get to look at the mirror, and you can try it now. If you have a mirror or a cell phone you can prop up, and the cell phone you can put it on selfie mode. You should probably try it because it's a really interesting point I want to make. Just let me know if you will or will not.
I'm gonna do it right now. Like, just like look in the mirror while drawing a star.
You're trying it? Or you're gonna do it later?
I'm gonna do it right now.
Okay. So
I'm gonna do it right now.
You can prop your cell phone up so that you're looking into the sort of selfie cam. And you're trying to draw a picture of like a star by only looking into the mirror or only looking into the... Yeah, only looking
So that doesn't give me a hard time, but that's because I guess because of drawing, I sort of have like awareness of my hands, so I could do it with my eyes closed because I feel where my hands are. So looking in a mirror doesn't actually, it's not actually that hard for me.
Let's see what Tony says.
Yeah, but you know, that's given my background in animation.
That's given my background in existing in the mirror world. Oh. I did not know.
There you go. 1% battery on this thing. Oh, they just died right now. Fuck. Figure out another way. Okay, so I kind of looked at myself while like drawing the star, and it kind of looks like a star. Like,
was it difficult for you at first?
No, it wasn't really difficult at all. I just kind of had like, I guess use like muscle memory. Like I kind of knew like how to move my hands in a way to make a star in the first place.
I did it! Wow. Yeah, so that's a basic experiment where people are like, oh. They look at the mirror and they try to draw a star and they keep moving their hand in the wrong direction because they're kind of orienting themselves in the mirror. But the trick is obviously you use the mirror you make sure that you're drawing on a piece of paper, but from there you either use your muscle memory or you close your eyes or you envision what the star is like and just kind of do the motions from there. So like that's the trick. So what seemed like it was a convoluted and crazy request is all of a sudden quite manageable, quite simple, and quite straightforward, right? So it's the same thing with learning anything, especially with things like soft body, right? Like, oh man, you're doing two things at once. I can't even wrap my brain around it. Well, you could if you had the right technique, like if you know what to look for or what to do or just how to break things down, just like in Enlighten or any other learning activity.
I don't remember, wasn't there some study or something that says we don't actually multitask, we just rapidly switch between two or multiple different things?
I'm sure there is.
It's like the final level, or?
It's close. You'd be surprised at how... Shoot!
This is starting to look like a Kandinsky painting.
It's like you listened to my stream the other day. I said, oh, this reminds me of Kandinsky a little bit.
Oh wow.
So get out of my head, Charles. My tactic for starting this one is pretty funny. You ride the ball and let it block the bullets for you. So I'm looking at the thing at the back corner of my left eye, but I can barely see it. Because of the...
Because it's kind of small.
And yeah, it's freaking red and dark green on a lime green background with yellow obstacles. Like, that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. How are you supposed to see it? Not only is it very tiny on the screen, but the color contrast is non-existent. I died. So yeah, like, once you sort of get a really clear idea of what's happening in your head, I think you can better explain a whole bunch of different sort of activities and things using these models. And you're like, wait a minute, maybe it's not about trying to think about two things simultaneously, but developing the kinds of chunks that allow either you to free up enough working memory that you can just see and do, or enough complexity in your working memory that you can take care of it from there.
Yeah. You might need to develop a different strategy if the objects are too small for your peripheral vision to handle. Yeah, it's like you wouldn't see a shmup made with enemies and bullets that tiny.
I think even like in bullet hell shooters, like usually like the masses of bullets are pretty noticeable, like for you to weave through, maybe.
Oh shoot!
I haven't actually played any bullet hell shmups, but what I imagine they do is that they actually make it, because of the massive bullets, you're not really looking at the spaces that the bullets are, you're looking at the spaces where they're not, and that's where you usually see the openings. And also just the patterns that they shoot the bullets on, like floral patterns and whatever.
This one's pretty, this is a pretty infamous bullet hell boss. I just never played any bullet hell games because I don't have the patience for that, but just look at this shit, Adrian.
Why do you think you need patience for it?
Just like, there's like a massive anything, like, there's like, the visuals in like any game are like too busy for me, like, it just fucks with my head, and like, it just, no, like, it'll be like, take forever for me to like, get through with it.
Isn't that kind of like saying, some people might say for this game, I don't have the time to memorize or learn how to do two things at once. You're like, it's not about learning how to do two things at once, rather.
You just have to learn to develop a technique for dealing with it, kind of like Strike Man's in the hard mode of Mega Man 10. Strike Man does a thing where he throws as many as 7 balls out at once.
Oh shoot, that was so close.
And yeah, that's an example of a lot happening at once, and you just find a way to see the openings instead of like literally tracking all 7 balls at the same time. It's like you don't actually do that if you want to get through that boss.
Yeah, that was a cool
like,
Strike
don't
Man.
try to like develop strategies first before anything else.
Yeah, and also what I'm getting at is that it's how you approach it and how you think about it. Because if you're literally just trying to look at all 7 of them, yeah, that's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to be easily overwhelmed. That's when you need to change how you look at the problem, approach it differently. A lot of math is about that too. How do we take these stupid complex problems and make it less of a pain in the ass to find simple solutions or simple methods for?
fact that the colors change on this one is so dumb too. Like it's hard enough to build there.
Colors change a lot in these levels, right?
To me, I think. Hang on, let me see when the colors change. Yeah, the game should probably slow down or pause when it does that.
There's like this image bleed and I can't see anything, and then they actually spawn in enemies during that transition, so you can easily just run into something you couldn't even see. Like, come on. Tuning, please.
I think it should just be like its own separate level transition, like you have to do two separate challenges at once and not like a continuation of the first challenge.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
It's too bad for players. It's too bad for us. Oops, just getting hit in the face. I almost had it, so I know I can do it again, but I was like really feeling it. Just like Shulk.
Funny.
Yeah. Watch that one meme video of Shulk.
What are like 25 million meme videos about Shulk?
Yeah, I know. My favorite one is where they keep changing the words. So instead of he's saying "I'm really feeling it," like "I'm really stealing it," and they edit in like a money bag and thug glasses.
Come on. Yes! I'm really stealing it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is insane. Okay, so look at this next level and see if you think it's insane.
Okay, so you got like, oh my god, it's got the wire fences. It's got the lasers.
Okay, lasers. Spinning yellow bars. That'd kill you, of course.
Oh,
and that one
giant one. Push that circle around the whole thing.
Oh my gosh, I blocked myself. I think I can do this opening. I gotta do this side quickly. What's this thing shooting at me? So now that I've done all the red, I gotta guide the blue ball across the whole course. Shoot. That's really annoying. But it's actually quite doable. Like, I was doing it.
Yeah.
But, you know, one mistake.
Gotta say, you can see the timers between the one big bar in the middle and the two. Those two are actually in sync. They're the same.
But yeah, it just takes so much focus. And then you have to get that ball all the way along top, all the way to the right, and then you saw the red has to like outline all of these blocks. So you're supposed to get comfortable enough to do like both the necessary maneuvers at the same time, right?
I don't like these electric fences. It's like you're making your own challenges.
I can actually see two things happening at once and control two things independently. It's not that hard. It's just one mistake.
Yeah, that's why I think it really would have been helpful if they allowed you to take some sort of damage.
But this is hard plus, so no tears. I have plenty of tears. Oh, so these levels are so hard.
Tears are for queers.
Oh, no, Adrian, please. Please.
What?
Not on my stream.
That was from Rocketons.
From what?
Oh, it's a Newgrounds video. Never mind.
That was like 2007 era Newgrounds. Come on.
Am I supposed to know that's from the internet? So check this out.
Wait, that's not even a...
These lasers pulse and kill you whenever you pass over them, but apparently these big circles are big lasers. Took me a while to figure that out.
Just pulse in that entire area. That's... Oh, wow. Basically just a danger zone. A lot of these hard levels just seem to be limiting the amount of space you can work with.
Yeah. It's true. That's the first note to Mario. Dun 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 dun. Dang it. So only the yellow can crack these red boxes, and only the blue can kill the enemies once they're cracked. What? Dun 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 dun. Shoot, that's so hard. But it's not that hard. So let's try to work out this middle thing. Shoot, the middle thing has a zap laser too? That's ridiculous. Oh, that's ridiculous. They just added stuff to this until it was too hard.
Oh, wait. How are you supposed to move it around? Like, what if you...
You just dodge like this, but then you also have to get out of its way of the zap lasers coming in. So then you have to go back. It's so hard.
Really?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I just saw that thing spray a ton of bullets at you.
Yeah, that's just what it does. Which is easy if it weren't for the zap laser in the middle. So you almost have to do something like that. Shoot, forgot which one was which. Like, this level is a lot of garbage.
It's even, like, worse about this is, like what happens if, like, it gets too close into the center? Would you just not be able to get into that ball?
Maybe. This is like that other level, but they put in these zap spheres inside of it. Oh shoot, see, this is so stupid. The circles that have the zap spheres are small yellowish lines, but the hazardous lines that are created by this missile that's following me around are yellow dots. That is so dumb. Why? Why would you make something that hurts you and something that doesn't hurt you two different colors in a color-coded type game? Ugh. Who decided to do that? I know who. Not me. Now it's gonna get super hard. Dang, that's crazy. What? That's crazy. I just get mixed up sometimes. I can't keep my eyes on everything and the bullets. Like, how are you supposed to actually be able to dodge the bullets? How? The amount of pinpoint focus you need to figure out a trajectory of a bullet being shot at rotated intervals in the center while rotating two objects externally? Like, are you kidding me? Can anyone do this?
Yeah. Not only that, but the bullets decelerate once they reach a certain point, typically around where the circles are. So you can probably see it too if you look at them.
I think it's kind of hard for me to tell because like stream's a little choppy for me. The internet's kind of bad. Do you think that might just be a way, like a little bit of tuning to make things a little bit easier, or do you think that's done to like throw off time?
Oh no, I think that's done to make it harder because if they went faster, they would flow past the circle before you could even be in danger of it. That's why they slow down around the area you're going to be in.
So the only cool thing I could say about this setup is, how can you watch these tiny dots and when they're about to hit your dude from across the screen? The trick is, whatever's about to hit one dude is symmetrically about to hit the other, and if you're mirroring your inputs properly, then the dodge you do for the one should be the dodge you do for the other. How cool is that?
Do you control the direction of the circle, or are
No,
you just
I'm a slave to this circle right now.
I think it would have been interesting if you could, like, if instead of like pushing a ball, you could just.
Oh yeah.
Like instead of pushing a ball, you're just on a timer and just have to like dodge some bullets symmetrically.
I think the most aggravating part about this is the circles move counterclockwise, and you have to move the ball clockwise. So it's really just about like doing, I'm gonna guess 6 rotations, maybe 5 rotations of this thing. It's really irritating. It's really irritating. And the worst part is, if you wanted this challenge to be like 5 rotations around in this crazy setup, maybe that would have been a better setup instead of like move this ball around. And even though I appreciate that the ball has been a consistent level element from the beginning, like if you miss the ball for whatever reason, that's even more rotations. And that's just like heartbreaking. Yeah, anything else you want to talk about while we are streaming?
Are there any like games that have tried like simultaneous character control, but are like a bit more like well, better than this? I've heard of Brothers of Hill Two Sons, that was like more of a story-based game.
Like playing a cargo with both.
I thought it was like you could just switch characters around.
You could play both 2 players at once. It's pretty cool. There's a game called Chronos Twins. Playing, well, actually, it's not dual control; it's simultaneous control. I don't know if there's
Nintendo Land.
What we're talking about, Adrian.
That one Nintendo Land game where you control 2 characters from Animal Crossing and you try to fork the other characters.
Oh wow, a perfect example. Please don't, yes! Wait, no, there's another stage. You gotta be kidding me! Finish the freaking level! I'm done. That's so stupid. Sometimes you're like, that was the end, right? You don't have 2 stages, and they're just like, we're gonna delay the victory condition on this one. Like, are you kidding me? Like...
Yeah, that never feels good.
And check out, in the options, you can set the number of lives to 3. Let's see if that does anything.
But is a live system?
I don't think it applies to hard mode.
Wait, why is there an unlockable levels now? Well, that would actually be kind of useful, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's just a normal mode. Oh, you jerk. That's okay. And that's a soft body. I keep torturing myself. So, as crazy as this game is, I still think it's much more fair than Celeste.
Oh yeah, Celeste, like so much bullshit, like and at the end of the game where a lot of like if there's like a binoculars or like as soon as you keep going, it's just like, oh wait, now you gotta learn this, and you just die and repeat everything. It's like always back to square one as soon as you're introducing something. Like maybe I just don't have good reflexes, but that's what happened to me like at the last level.
I think when this game boots up, my audio cuts off on Discord, so if that happens... Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
There
he is.
Yeah, that game kills the audio to Discord for some reason.
I've been playing like another linear platformer called Splasher, and I think it's like way better than Celeste. Sort of like a imagine like 2D Splatoon mixed with not like Splatoon, more like 2D. Like remember like Portal 2 where you had like mechanic like in like the middle of the game, like bouncing and.
No,
you never played Portal 2?
a little bit.
Yeah, there's like a paint level in Portal 2 where you just paint around the level to solve puzzles and stuff like that. Like, and in this game you have like different paints that you unlock over the course of the game, or that are already like pre-planted that you. Like, let me just show it to you. I'm fucking terrible at explaining shit. Jesus.
Okay.
I just really like it a lot more Celeste because it just feels like I'm actually like playing around with it and not just like.
There's another game that would be like Celeste, might be better, might be worse, and that's 1001 Spikes.
Oh yeah, like I played a little bit of it. It's pretty good. Very straightforward. Really just create a movement. Like, doesn't have like a analog or jump. It's just high jump or low jump. You played it?
No, I own it. I just need to get around to playing it.
I recommend it. I never beat it, but it's not, that's the game I really want to beat.
Shoot.
Are you watching this trailer, Adrian?
Oh no, I'm watching this game, which is called Inversus.
I'm glad he added an arcade mode. This is interesting.
Man, look at that screen shake.
Twin stick shooter type of deal?
No, it's just that you hit the face buttons to shoot in the 4 directions.
This looks really fun.
Yep. Just that one little... Yeah.
This is the game we interviewed the creator for the DO blog when we used to running the blog. And since then he's released on Steam and Switch and added online play and this arcade mode. I haven't played this in years. I kinda hate how you have to restart your stream in order to change what you're playing.
It's so simple with that one little change is what makes it so cool.
Which change?
The spaces the enemies move across, you can't move over.
Traversable territory.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Game over.
Cool.
This is not how the game normally plays like.
Oh, the normal game was a multiplayer game in which you play other human players in a top-down way like that. So like, I'll show you. I'll play online. Online with anybody. So, 1 versus 1. Oh, arcade sounds fun. Start a local game while waiting, why not? Play the second map.
Go.
So this game has a parry, I think. Where if you take it out, or is it? I think right before they hit you, if you hold the charge button, there's a tiny little shield that appears in front of your character. I don't know if you can see it on the screen.
The stream lags behind by like 30 seconds for me, so I gotta wait to see it happen.
They really close in on you. Dang. You jerks. Sometimes you just gotta rapid fire apparently.
Game over.
I don't think anyone played this one.
I need to do a better job of not quartering myself. Oh, that's how you chain them. It's explosions for their death, not for bullets. So an individual shot can start a chain. Okay.
Game over.
I think I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Cool,
I'm
Tony.
like starting to.
Discussion. I'm glad you joined us.
Ready. Go.
I'm glad I could shit post. No, but seriously, good night.
Later.
Good conversation.
Later.
What time is it?
Almost 1
Yeah.
Life lost.
Eastern time, almost 1 a.m.
No, I used all my bullets like an idiot.
That's another interesting thing is that you have bullets and you gotta pick it off the corpses, so just another like Splatoon-esque kind of like salmon run of you gotta accept it's your bullets this time. You wanna win, you gotta move to where you killed them. So you can't just huddle away in a corner and shoot at them.
Life lost. Game over. Ready. Go.
I need to make sure I keep my territory. Last one's gonna die.
Life lost.
Shoot. I'm collecting those for now. Shoot. I should have shot down. I'm not doing it all.
Yeah, in playing these types of games, it's easy to get stuck solely shooting left and right.
Look how clear this menu work is. Like, you beat a level, it says game over, it said do something at the top. You see your score front and center, you clearly know how well you did because you didn't even get a star. But your arcade level, as far as how much time you've put into it, it's on the rise, and like, oh, like...
Ready. Go.
I'll wake up tomorrow and do my tutorial work.
Cool.
Life lost.
Normally I don't like it when you have arcade games like this and you get more lives for doing well. I like when you have a fixed number of lives. Found my way out of that.
Why a fixed number of lives?
Because, you know, you have one chance to do it. So, like, if you do a little bit better, you get another life, and you do a little bit better, you get another life. So, like, you could prolong that a long way. And I kind of like, if you play a session, you want to do it as well as you can do, like, a small, kind of fixed amount of time instead of, like, well, I better reserve 5 hours for my next run. You're like, no, you just want to reserve, save 10 minutes or something.
over.
I feel like with any... Oh... I think with any arcade mode, though, it's... You know, sometimes it's just going to happen where you're going to be stuck there playing it for a long time if you have a high score. I think that's what happens with...
So... Resident Evil Mercenaries has a fixed time limit, and you're trying to get as many zombie chain kills as you can within a fixed time.
Yeah.
That just puts a hard limit on how long you can go, but you're supposed to go faster and kill more in that time, and that's how you differentiate your skill.
Yeah. The kind I was remarking about are the ones that are you play as long as you can until you lose, kind of like Tetris.
Yeah, or Geometry Wars, which is why I don't like Tetris even has an end state though, a kill screen if you will. It gets faster and faster.
Yeah.
Which helps kill
you. Yeah. And actually, Donkey Kong Nevermind has a timer, so you grind barrels. All I know is that I forget what it's something like the longer it takes or the higher your score is, the more randomized the Donkey Kong gets throwing the barrels.
Yeah, to kind of discourage you.
Yeah, either something to discourage you or something that like actually makes the game, you know, harder. Of course, if you're good at dealing with that randomness, then you know, almost like no amount will probably be enough to throw you off. That's so cool.
Shoot, missed my one shot there. So right now I had 3 lives and now I have 2 lives. I might get another life back. I didn't realize how much damage you have to doing this. Like, shooting miss your shots if you can help it.
Yeah, I was about to point out at some time that you actually can miss those guys even if you're in the same square because they don't take up quite the whole square and you're shooting pixels, so if you're like, you know, 3 pixels to the left of them, even inside that square, you can actually miss them. It's also cool what they did with that white enemy there. You can see when he has a new bullet.
Game over.
Gotta be careful of the edges.
Hey, I got 3 stars, that means I've unlocked the 3rd level. See, I noticed that this iconography and the highlights of the red made it to where I can go like this, and then I can start a local game while waiting. And I can go to arcade, 1 player, and now that I have 3 stars, that little mark on the menu means it's new, and I clearly know that I have to get 5 stars on every level, and that's a clear challenge that I may accept to do, and just really clean design, really clear HUD, really clear menus. I like it so much.
Ready, go.
constantly evaluating who you need to shoot and what you need to do to shoot them. Like, that's video games.
Yep.
Decision making. I can't believe it took people so long to figure that out. Just like a few years ago, like, these games are good because you make decisions. Like, yeah, play them.
These are the kind of games people were making. Seriously, where have you been? Or ever played Robotron? Asteroids? That's what those games were. Defender. Even those weird ones like Zookeeper.
Zookeeper?
Yeah.
I played that on PS. Probably thinking of a different game.
Yeah, it's the one that I played when I went to the Daytona arcade. Sadly, they did not have Daytona racing in the Daytona arcade. That was cool.
Game over.
At least I got one side of that. Nice consistent scoring system. What's up?
Oh, I said Burger Time was another surprisingly cool game in the arcades. It's one of those mazy platformer type games where you just move in around a single arena and you have enemies that chase you, kind of like Pac-Man, but with the added dynamic of gravity. And you're trying to make a burger at the same time.
Oh, I got these emotes for playing online. Playing online with friends with the arcade mode, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Get your Inversus salmon run in there.
This game's neat. I'll probably play more of this later. I have Owlboy and Flint Hook to play. And Steven Sausage Roll soon. I want to kill the stream now.
Okay.
Later, stream heads.